Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get
Fans
into
of
it.
auto tuning go to the most diverse steps to distinguish their own vehicle from the general flow, make the car bright, noticeable, and memorable. In this case, it is not necessary to completely redesign the body, install massive aerodynamic elements, or repaint the car in a poisonous color. There is a much simpler, but at the same time extremely effective way to stand out and emphasize the attractiveness of the car. This is the illumination of the bottom. Such a system can be realized with your own hands. To do this, you will need the lighting element itself, as well as standard tools and auxiliary consumables. Allowed or not. If you look at different photos and videos, then objectively neon or LED lighting, located in the underbody area on the car, looks gorgeous. This is a variety of color solutions, most noticeable exactly in the dark. It is important to immediately realize that here we are not talking about any practical advantages. There is no special benefit from such an improvement of the car. But if you dropped something under the car at night, then with the backlight, it will be much easier to find this object. Although there is nothing difficult to take a flashlight or turn on the backlight on your phone. The main reason for installing a backlight is precisely because of the visual effect. But there is also a definite disadvantage. For some reason, law enforcement officers react very strongly to cars with such tuning and stop the driver at every opportunity. But whether there will be something to charge the motorist directly depends on how the backlight is realized. If you follow all the rules of installation, there will be no grounds for a fine or deprivation of license from the traffic police officer. In general, valiant representatives of the traffic police refer to paragraph 3.1 of the current traffic regulations, current in the Russian Federation. It states that backlighting is a special light signal. Potentially, this is a threat for a serious fine or even deprivation of license for 1 to 1.5 years. The most important thing here is that the installed illumination does not interfere in any way with other road users. That is, the devices should not dazzle the drivers of oncoming cars and interfere with the view of those who move behind. Fans of tuning with experience note that for the illumination of the underbody, it is better to provide a brightness regulator in advance. In normal conditions, the illumination can be turned off completely or set to the minimum brightness. Then nobody will have any claims. And already at meetings, shows, some competitions you can give the maximum brightness. No one will be fined here. According to GOSD number 8769-75, underbody illumination cannot be attributed to the external lighting devices of the vehicle. As for the traffic rules, there are restrictions on light sources and their placement on cars. No sanctions will not threaten the driver if there are lights and reflectors in yellow, orange, or white in the front of the car. A license plate light must be installed at the rear. The backlight or reversing light must be strictly white. Rear light fixtures may be red, yellow, or orange. Rear reflectors must be red. In case of installation of illumination on the bottom of the car, the light must be directed strictly downwards. Installation of such equipment will not be considered as a reason for a fine and will not be considered as an offense if only the bottom of the car will be illuminated and other external attributes will not be affected in any way by the illumination. In fact, an additional lamp is installed, and it simply illuminates the asphalt under the car. Illumination options. The main differences between the illuminations used for the design of the bottom of vehicles are in the visual design, the applied color solutions. Read also, BPN, what it means, how it is decoded, and what features it has at the same time. The system can be based on one of two. Principles of operation, neon. If we talk about visual superiority, then it is the neon illumination for the bottom of the car looks the most saturated, bright, and solid. But the installation is much more complicated. LED. The analog is LED illumination for the bottom. This option of tuning the car is chosen much more often. The system is extremely simple to install. It is considered more practical and versatile. Despite certain superiorities of neon, such illumination is very rare, especially among domestic motorists. To frame neon lighting, additional protection of elements on the bottom will be required. Neon lights fail easily and quickly if the operating conditions are violated. It is very easy to damage it and break it. This is rather an option for exhibition cars, which are not used in real conditions. All this suggests that the most correct and most practical solution will be the installation of LED strips. In this case, the scheme can be realized in various ways. Options for the design of backlighting. The motorist himself must choose which variant of backlighting. Based on its principle of operation, it is better to install on the bottom of your own vehicle. In total, it is possible to distinguish such options. Direct connection. This is the simplest and elementary connection. Here, additional lighting devices are directly connected to the electrical network of the car. Remote control. As a control organ can be a mounted button on the dashboard or a remote control. Flashing backlight. Here you need a special controller with the appropriate function. Autonomous operation. The point is that the backlight will not depend on the power grid of the car. The lamps have their own power supply. Systems can be made more complex or simplified by choosing just one option or by combining them. The backlighting can have only one color or several lamps of different colors. If desired, you can even make a system that will adjust and work to the beat of the music. A kind of light show under the car. Looks spectacular. Necessary materials. To make the bottom of the car played with new colors, and in a direct sense, there is installed backlighting. Since neon lamps have too many disadvantages and there are pitfalls in installation, the most correct solution will be to use LED strips. To assemble the system, you will need a kit consisting of LED strips, control unit, perforated L-shaped profile, aluminum corner, a beacon for leveling the floor, screed of 2.5 by 100 millimeters, metal self-tapping screws, silicone tubing, double insulated copper stranded wires, heat shrink tubing, a basic set of tools. The tools should include a drill, soldering iron, a set of screwdrivers, keys, etc. When choosing an LED strip, special attention should be paid to the degree of protection. It should not be lower than IP65. Then you can proceed directly to the installation. Installation procedure. It is quite possible to cope with the installation of illumination on the bottom of the car with your own hands. Here the main thing is to follow the instructions and observe elementary safety precautions. Before you make your own illumination for the bottom of your car, you need to take into account these recommendations. For work it is better to use an inspection pit or an elevator. Qualitative and bright lighting is required. Gloves and goggles for protection are used in the process of work. It is not unreasonable to pre-wash the underbody and dry it. Improve your electronics and electrical skills if there are problems with this. Read also how to make aquaprint on the car with your own hands. Now you can get to work. Step by step, the process of installing backlighting can be divided into such steps. First, it is necessary to assemble the circuit. Without installation, making sure that it works. If after completing the installation it turns out that the backlight does not function, you will have to remove it. Look for the cause of the problem. Therefore, a preliminary check will avoid a number of problems in the future. You can choose between two connection options, series or parallel. When connected in series, the entire underbody is illuminated. You will need to connect two wires to the power supply. That's all. In the case of a parallel connection, you can put together several sections that illuminate the bottom of the car. They are connected in parallel, and a common additional wire is brought to the power source. It is extremely important that when using a single-ended power supply, the length of the LED strip is no more than 5 meters. If sections of tape are used, it should be cut strictly along the lines specified by the manufacturer. Cut the required number of elements. The length is selected taking into account preliminary calculations, plus you need to leave a reserve of 20 centimeters. It is also necessary to prepare the wires that will connect the different sections. In the places where they connect, the tape must be tinned. Observing the polarity, the connection is performed. The prepared layout is connected to a power source. The place of soldering is insulated with heat shrink tubing. In this case, use ready-made connectors. Experienced experts do not advise. Otherwise, there is a risk that with constant machine vibrations, the system will stop working at some point. To fix the tape on the profile, you can use nylon ties. But tape and sticky tapes are not suitable. They will surely fall off over time. Keep a distance of about 10 centimeters between the ties. The fixing profile is cut into sections, making a reserve of about 3 to 5 centimeters in length. This length is necessary to ensure a tight connection at the bonding points. Otherwise, the circuit may come loose. It is necessary to make sure that the tape does not sag anywhere and is not stretched too tightly. Otherwise, breakage is inevitable. In advance, you should choose a place to place the control unit and RGB controller of LEDs. This will be a place in the cabin. Observing the principles of comfort and safety, the backlight is connected to the power supply. It is important not to forget about the fuse. It is mounted in the gap of the plus wire, and the place is chosen so that if necessary it was easy to get to it, check and replace. Stabilization scheme is optional, but desirable. It will allow the backlight will not burn out due to possible overloads of LED RGB tape. After completing the work is required to perform a final test. If all is well, you can go on the road and demonstrate the result of your own labor. Recommendations for operation. Many opponents of tuning in Russia are sure that the illumination of the bottom for the owner of the car will certainly provoke a large fine. In fact, there is a lot of debate as to whether or not underbody lighting is allowed. It is possible to install such an illumination system for a car. But here it is important to strictly comply with the considered points of traffic rules and GOST. If everything is done correctly, no claims to the driver on the part of traffic police officers will not be. Although some will want to stop you and check for knowledge of the law, here it is better to study the normative legal acts in advance. Unfortunately, taking advantage of the naivety and illiteracy of some drivers, unscrupulous servants of the law often invent a non-existent fine. Their willingness to solve the problem on the spot hides banal extortion and deceit. The right solution will be not only to study your license, but also to install a dimmer switch. In conclusion, exploring the various variants of car underbody illumination reveals a world of creativity and personalization for automotive enthusiasts. From LED strips to more advanced systems, each option offers unique benefits and aesthetic appeal. Proper installation is crucial to ensure safety and functionality, so always follow guidelines or consult a professional if needed. By enhancing your vehicle's appearance with underbody lighting, you not only elevate its style, but also increase visibility on the road. Thank you for watching, and we hope you feel inspired to illuminate your ride.